Welcome everyone to our second presentation in the series of the coronaviruses. I'm trusting that you're keeping well in your corner, wherever you're watching from around the globe. I'm also praying that you be comforted and all those who have been impacted be comforted, and that you would have courage to bear to the end. Our presentation, second presentation, is split into two. The first part is sort of urgent, and that has to do with stopping the spread of the coronavirus amongst health caregivers and in the community. The second part will be testing as previously scheduled. You can see here that this is a real hospital and in New York that is dealing with many persons that have been impacted with the coronavirus. So how do we stop this virus from spreading from patients to the our precious health caregivers? And how do we stop it from spreading amongst the health caregivers themselves, the hospital workers? And how do we stop that also from getting into the community and vice versa? How do we stop this? You can see that the battle is interconnected, and we all together must work to halt the spread of this coronavirus. I want to take this moment, in fact, to thank all the healthcare workers. I want to thank you for your courage, for your bravery. I want to thank you for your sacrifice. You will be rewarded in due course. We are very grateful for all that you do. So first, I want to discuss the how to protect the healthcare workers and the laboratorians. The summary of all I would present here has to do with using your PPEs right, the personal protective equipment right, and that process of using them right is called aseptic techniques. So I'll go through briefly the PPEs and the aseptic techniques. A lot has been said about the PPEs in the news media, in press conferences, in the task force, the CDC. Everywhere you look, everybody is talking and hammering on the PPEs, be they mask, coat, goggles, and so on. But very little is being said about aseptic techniques. So during our discussions today, I'm going to bring up and refresh your minds, especially the healthcare workers, refresh your minds about what you met or you saw in your microbiology lectures and labs. And so this reminds me to let you all know that this presentation is specially dedicated to my precious daughter, Kemka, who is one of the frontliners, as well as all my former students who now have joined the battle, more than 300 of my students who are physicians in the front lines, and many more who are nurses and others who work in labs around the world and around the country working on this issue. So this presentation is specially dedicated to you. Yes, you can see in this ER or hospital space that the people are well dressed. So the PPE here does not seem to be the problem. But if you look, you would see that the keyboard is not covered. This keyboard is bare. And if a glove that they had on is been contaminated from their previous work, they would touch that. So many of the things in this space are open, and it would not be kind of have a decongested nurse's corner, and that would help us in control spread. So exactly can we help the frontliners and prevent the spread of this disease? If my heart might hear that a health caregiver has been infected, or they're having to sleep in their cars or have to go to a hotel room far from family they love so dearly. So I decided to put this together to refresh your mind and help us go through this moment. So personal protective equipment, yes, we all know all the things that you wear to protect your patients from you and you from your patients, and to protect you from the contaminated environment. Your coats, your safety goggles, appropriate masks, and so on. All these are parts of your personal protective equipment. But we must go beyond the PPE. We need to start thinking about intubation hood, for example, a plastic or smooth surface cover for all of the touchscreen devices that you use, including your computer keyboards. Indeed, this is a nice application that I found online. I don't know the company that made it. We use a hood like this in microbiology. We work with exposed or infectious agents. This protects us completely from the aerosol or potential escapes. In fact, they might want to consider, if this will be convenient for you guys, but they might want to consider, these innovators, putting these holes on the side so that you can stand without having this anything splash on your lab coats or on your gowns, on your doctor's gowns or cover, so that these will go on the sides and you can actually have like a screen through which you let your hands in to touch your patients that will be in there. I also recommend additional PPEs. You can see in this enhanced precaution posted in a New York hospital, anyone entering this room must wear the N95 respirator, gloves, gown, eye protectors. Yes, indeed, but I think they should add to it a hair cover. Men with facial hair should use full face shield. They need to have protective cover over keyboards, and long sleeve coats and shoe protectors should be considered. You may wonder why hair, because hair can be aerosol too. So now to aseptic techniques, apart from the PPEs that everyone now knows about. What really is aseptic techniques? Aseptic techniques describes how you use your PPEs. It explains in detail how to use them to avoid contamination of the pathogen to your environment or to others, and to protect yourself as well. Aseptic technique details how to remove your PPEs after work, and it helps you also know how to dispose of your PPEs. And I have also added here some additional things that you might want to consider to improve asepsis and block the spread of COVID-19. In this picture, which I picked from a video online that CNN actually shot of a New York hospital, this is real. You can see here some gloves that have been thrown. This must have been done as an emergency. You can look at this glove and see that it was not inverted. So somebody may have removed it the wrong way. They also just dropped it on the floor. If it is aerosol laden, you will rub off that aerosol on the floor and maybe match on it with your shoes, and you go home, remove those shoes with your hands and rub your eyes, and there goes the transmission. So this is not good. The empty plastics should not be. So yes, I saw the cover. I don't know what medication that might have been or the stopper that was used. This is also not good at all. So properly dispense or dispose of the PPEs. To have the PPE is one, and to properly dispose them is another important element. All right, so here is my quick summary for all the doctors, the nurses, and all the frontline force in this battle against the invisible. Remove your gloves right away and remove it the right way. And you can see the right way here is indicated. Wash your hands between patients and before you leave the hospital. Even if you are wearing gloves all through, make sure you wash your hands. That's what we do routinely in the microbiology lab. Wear a hair cover and face shield, especially if you have beards or facial hair of any kind, because droplets stick to hair. And if you touch your beard afterwards, you might just rub off on those droplets and pass them on. Wear active eye block aerosol and prevent contact. Be sure to wipe your protective goggles before you leave the consultation room or the ER. This is important. Use alcohol wipe or your Lysol wipe. And then dispose of all those wipes in a biohazard bag, not into a regular trash, because the trash carriers may just dip their hands and not understand the dangers. It needs to go into a biohazard bag, not into a regular trash bag. Train your janitors. This cannot be overemphasized. Nosocomial spread of infection or diseases is well known to be perpetrated by poorly trained janitors. Many of them do not understand that they may not use the same materials they use to clean one ward to move to the other ward. Some of them may not dilute the hospital disinfectants properly. Every member of the cleaning crew is important in this war. Please make sure that you inspect what they do and be sure to train them well. Clean and wipe and disinfect the bed rails. Those aerosols from the sneezes of your patients and those that are coughing or talking to explain what the matter was is also those aerosols rest on the bed rails as well. Keep sterile cotton swabs near your door when you go into your house. Yes, this is a little tip that I want you to use and pretend like it's a swab for experiment. So dip this in a saline or just use it dry. And in that case, you'll be wiping out any viral particles that may have gone into your nostril while you were at work. Clean your nostrils, clean your air openings. And also do gargle with salt water or a mouthwash. Any type would do in the mornings and immediately after work. What this does when you do a deep gargle, it stimulates you to produce more mucus. As you spit out the mucus, you're going to evacuate, wash away the viruses before they penetrate your cells in the oropharynx. Remove your shoes at the door of your home. Do not get into the house. I know some of you will probably go through your garage already doing this, but please keep it far from the inside of the home as possible. Change your work clothes at the entrance as well and place them directly in the washer. Do not use the same lab coat or hospital gown that you use in the ward round in your office. You have to make sure you wash and disinfect them with hot water and bleach. Do not expose your hair. I've said that earlier, and I can't emphasize this enough. Beard and all that hair on your skin, on your hands, can trap aerosol. At the ER on the COVID-19 wards, make sure your hair is properly covered. Do not wear large jewelry or use accessories with rough surfaces. In fact, use those that you can easily and readily clean if you must wear accessories and jewelries. Do not touch your goggles or your glasses with gloved hands. Do not touch your cell phone at all. In fact, do not answer your call. If you must answer, please cover your cell phone in a Ziploc bag that you're going to dispose and throw away immediately after your section. Do not lean on the bed rails. And because the bed rails, like I said, could trap those aerosols and viral particles. Do not mix your hospital work clothes and the clothes that you use at home. So these are tips that I hope that will be useful to you to refresh your minds. Now, in the community, what do we need to do to stop community spread of the COVID-19? Stay at home for a little longer. And yes, I mean a little longer. It won't be long and we all will be fine. Wash your hands often. Relax, pray, be happy. Cover your sneeze and cough. Watch your pets, especially your cats. There is some evidence that these animals, our little pets, may have share some overlap with our ACE2 receptors. So if any of them is ill, make sure you don't delay in taking them to the hospital, to the veterinarian to check them out. You may wear your masks when you go out. This is a CDC recommendation, not a requirement. Please do not use velvet materials or cotton wools to create your mask. Try to use and fold it over so you would have better filtration. If you use porous materials, then they're no use. And if you use materials that are rough and sticky, like fibrous, they tend to accumulate the aerosol from the person talking to you, people sneezing around you. And then when you touch them to remove, then you just get them. So don't use rough materials for your masks when you're going out in the public. There are pros and cons of the different masks, and here you are, you see them, and you choose the one that's appropriate for the level and time that you're staying. What is the take-home message here? First of all, to all of the frontliners, to the researchers, the doctors, lab scientists, nurses, morgue technicians, all the bus drivers, everyone indeed involved in this fight. To all of the officials, the task force, the reporters of all of the news lines, actually, everyone has played a part in helping this pandemic go away soon. I trust it will soon be gone. America is grateful for your sacrifice. America salutes your courage and your bravery. Wear all of your PPEs, dispose them properly, and go the extra mile. Everyone has a role to play in this fight. And please do not be afraid. Remember, the good news is near. It's around the corner. So let us bear to the end. Thank you for listening again and for letting me share your quiet moments. Hope this has been useful somewhat. Thank you, and take good care of yourself. So who am I? Dr. Isiabo, microbiology professor, co-founder of Neighborhood Scientists. Science that empowers is our theme. And we hope that you found this useful. Bye.